has a special mechanic of taking over individual units, while having a cartoon appeal similar to Ravenfield or a total accurate battleground. The gameplay is all simplified. It's what you expect when you see games like simplified ballistics for guns. All you have to deal with very low bullet drop and spread, tank health and damage, and aerial flying. You know, the basics. We're gonna start out with the pros first. The variety of units is quite good. There's lots to pick from when selecting the battlefield. You can pick if you want to have an early war to late war around the 1950s. There's some special units where they're either made up or just something crazy, including, you know, the US having a atomic bomb you could drop on the field, or the USSR having this super heavy tank that spawns anti-tank dogs. A lot of fun there. The switching from the first person to the RTS is very nice, smooth, quick, instant, no clunkiness, not a lot of time delay. It's what you should typically aim for. It kind of reminds me of the Battlefront 2 recent versus third person. It's pretty good. They did a good job with it. Now let's talk about one of the modes. It has cool mode called Scenarios. It was an idea to post their own submissions on the Steam Workshop and have their own scenarios go and all that if you don't want to do the normal games. But the downside is they can't restrict what units they use, so you're already, by kind of habit, you're gonna select the best units and all that to beat the scenario. It's to the point where some of them actually have to post the docs with it and tell you what is supposed to be the limits you have, so you don't just curb stomp AI every time. But it is quite nice to set it on the screen, so you can use some more other tactics instead of with the campaigns, air and artillery all the time, no matter what. It's a nice, you know, breath of fresh air playing the game. Now here's a lot of the complaints I have. The nations, it's cool. They had a lot of different nations. Poland isn't typically represented at all, but it doesn't matter. They try to give them special units, abilities, and all. Doesn't matter because in the campaign, they always give the enemy always has superior armor and land forces. So those tank buffs you get as Soviets or Germany, doesn't matter. You are always going for air, no matter what. This would be all nice and neglected if in the campaign you could just reset the mission. They have an Iron Man mode, but even then, if you just go down the normal one, you can't just reset the mission. The only way to retry your strategy is to crash the game. And it just astonishes me why they would go adamant on you can't just simply retry. This is what makes scenario so nice, because I failed, okay, I don't have to be extremely punished and crash the game to reset. The campaign system they have is fundamentally flawed. If you can't beat the enemy with the money sources you have now, I don't know how you're gonna even progress to the next stage of the campaign when you have now even less resources and management. Fight the AI. All that just makes the campaigns feel restrictive, repetitive, and just annoying some of them, they just straight up say you don't get to use your army. Germany has one where you gotta take Warsaw and you can only use your infantry. So again, that whole armor division, you know, Germany getting that armor buff is gone. It's done. You don't get to use it, and just with them all except Britain and the US because the air doctrine. Let's go with reskin. Additional content they have released since they, you know, obviously since they released the game. All the units are reskinned, nearly all of them, which is, you know, a bad thing. It just makes the nation seem, again, more copy and paste. Yeah, there's a lot of unique, but a lot of them are just reskinned and all. It's annoying. Like when on the Soviets, you have the iconic EPSH, and it even has the drum mag. it holds 32 rounds and it nearly has the same fire rate as the Thompson in the game. The SMG, the rifles are all nearly identical, and it's a shame. And then you think that, now let's get to the maps. The right word for them would be a placebo effect. They make them look different, but they play the exact same every time. It's just typically an open field, only like 2 or 3 offering some vertical play with different styles, like there's a hill in it. But I'd say around 9 for 5 of the maps are the same. The devs also just seem to, this game, they stopped adding major changes, with the last being to edit units back in May 12th, and you can only edit the tank. So infantry planes, nope, you can't do that. Then let's get to the Italian DLC. It was not the right move for the first content expansion to be paid DLC, with reviews saying it was half finished, reskin units, lend-lease vehicles. It seems they were really relying on mods to keep this game relevant, living, not to be forgotten. Fortunately, the community for the mods are kind of dead, not like Ravenfield's a game that also relied on its modding community to keep going and living. But there is plentiful mods for small arms to larger vehicles in Ravenfield. Unlike in this game where it's just, I've only seen 3 big scenarios posted, so I'm taking the modding tools are limited. No small arms or infantry rework mods, only just some car mods and tank mods, and people remastering the models to make them look better. You can't rely on a mod community when you give them the mod tools like 3/4 in your lifespan. In conclusion, there's a decent amount of content, but if I had to describe it, it's half finished or too basic. It needs work on every category. I'm not saying it has to be super realistic, but the nations should be more unique to each other to fit other play styles and make the experience more unique during the campaigns. At this moment, they are all the same, you just have a different commander talking to you after each mission or chapter. I don't think this game's worth the $20 they want still. I recommend it getting when it's at least 20. I also do not recommend paying full price for the Italian DLC, so wait until that gets on sale. So yeah, that's it.